It started on a Tuesday morning, the kind of calm, sunny day that made my small cul-de-sac feel like a postcard. Birds were chirping, sprinklers hissed. And my neighbor Karen, the self-appointed president of our HOA, was already out patrolling with her clipboard. I was sipping coffee on my porch when she spotted me and waved in that tight, condescending way she did when she was about to remind me of a rule. "Morning, Jake," she called, striding up the driveway. "We need to talk about your gate code." "My gate code?" I frowned. "What about it?" She crossed her arms. "It's non-compliant. The HOA requires that all entry systems have uniform access for board members. You never sent me your code." "That's because it's my private gate," I said evenly. "It's on my property." Karen smiled like a teacher catching a student cheating. "Your property is part of the community. Which means, technically, it's under HOA jurisdiction." That was a lie, but Karen didn't believe in boundaries. I shrugged, not in the mood to argue. "I'll think about it." She huffed and scribbled something on her clipboard. "You'll receive a notice." That afternoon, I noticed her walking around my gate with a measuring tape. By evening, I received an email from the HOA citing security standard violations. I laughed it off. But the next morning, when I came home from work, my gate code didn't work. I tried again, nothing. Then I noticed a small sticker with the HOA logo near the keypad. Karen had changed my code. I stormed across the street to her house and rang the bell. She opened the door with that smug grin. "Oh, Jake. I was just about to tell you. We standardized everyone's gate code to make access easier for emergency services. By locking me out of my own driveway." I snapped. She blinked, unbothered. "You can request your new code in writing. There's a processing period." I couldn't believe it. My groceries were melting in the car, rain clouds were rolling in. And Karen was standing there quoting HOA bylaws like scripture. "Fine," I said tightly. "Enjoy your rules, Karen." She smiled sweetly. "Always do." But I noticed something as I walked away. Her fancy electronic gate had the same brand as mine. And if she'd changed my code, that meant she'd probably tampered with her own system too. I grinned to myself. Karma had a way of working quickly in this neighborhood. By Friday, the sky was heavy with gray clouds. The weather app said moderate showers, but the horizon looked like it had other plans. I parked on the street since my gate still wouldn't open. I'd emailed the HOA twice, no response. Karen's idea of a processing period was clearly just punishment. Around 4 p.m., thunder cracked in the distance. I watched as Karen hurried around her yard, pulling in patio cushions and fussing with her potted plants. Her designer raincoat gleamed under the first drops. I leaned on my porch railing, amused. She glanced over and gave a curt wave. Then, just as lightning flashed, her gate swung open, automatically locking behind her. She must have gone out to move her trash bins before the storm. A gust of wind picked up, followed by a downpour that sounded like a waterfall. I ducked inside, watching from the window. Karen was now outside her gate, clutching an umbrella that had turned inside out, pounding on the keypad. I couldn't help but laugh. She typed something, probably the standardized code she'd set for everyone. Nothing happened. She tried again, faster, rain pelting her face. Then she threw her umbrella on the ground and screamed something I couldn't hear. Lightning illuminated the scene. Karen, drenched, hair plastered to her face, kicking her own gate. Having fun. I called through the window, pretending to be surprised. She turned, startled. "Jake, my gate won't open. Did you submit a written request for the new code?" I shouted back, matching her earlier tone. Her eyes widened. "This isn't funny." The storm. A loud thunderclap cut her off. She fumbled with her phone, probably trying to call the HOA line. But the Wi-Fi and cell signal were flickering. The wind howled through the trees, shaking branches loose. I grabbed a rain jacket and stepped outside. "You need help?" She hesitated, pride and desperation warring on her face. Yes, please. I approached her keypad. And saw what I expected. She'd programmed every house gate under the same administrative code. But must have mistyped her override. Now it had locked her out entirely. You tampered with this system? I asked. It's for community safety. She shouted over the wind. Well, I said, smirking, it's keeping the community very safe from you. Lightning flashed again, illuminating Karen's horrified face. The storm wasn't slowing down, and neither, it seemed, was karma. Rainwater rushed down the street like a river, pooling around Karen's designer boots. She stomped in frustration as I crouched beside the keypad. I can try to reset it, I said, but I'll need the admin code. She looked away. I may have changed it. May have. I raised an eyebrow. I was standardizing security, she said defensively, shouting over the wind. All gates have the same base code now, except, apparently, mine. I sighed. Well, that's poetic. Just fix it. Her umbrella tumbled down the street like a runaway tumbleweed. I pressed a few buttons. But the system was fully locked. She'd triggered the failsafe. The control light blinked red, meaning it was disconnected from the remote server. You bricked it, I said flatly. Karen looked horrified. You can't be serious. I have groceries in my car. I gave her a look. Oh, so you know what that feels like. She glared at me, shivering in the downpour. This isn't about me, Jake. The HOA has protocols. Right, I said. The same HOA that won't reply to emails. Her face twisted. For once, she didn't have a comeback. Lightning cracked nearby, followed by a boom that rattled windows. I grabbed her arm. Come on. Get inside before you get struck. We sprinted across the street to my porch, soaked to the bone. She stood dripping, arms crossed tightly. This is humiliating, she muttered. Could be worse, I said. You could have locked out the whole neighborhood. She groaned. Don't give me ideas. I handed her a towel. She hesitated, then took it with a sigh. You really think I deserve this, don't you? I tilted my head. You changed my gate code without permission. Fined me, and lectured me about rules. I think the universe just sent you a memo. She slumped onto a chair, rainwater puddling at her feet. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just like things organized. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. We watched the storm rage outside for nearly an hour. Her phone was dead, and the HOA hotline went straight to voicemail. When the rain finally eased, I offered, I'll help you reset it in the morning. But next time, ask before touching someone else's property. She nodded quietly. Deal. I smiled. Good. Because I'm changing my code again tonight. For the first time, Karen actually laughed. The next morning, the world smelled like wet grass and redemption. The storm had passed, leaving the street littered with leaves and broken branches. Karen's yard looked like a battlefield. I walked over with a toolbox, still half expecting her to be her old bossy self. But when she opened the door, she looked different, calmer, even sheepish. Morning, she said. I made coffee. That was a first. Over mugs of steaming coffee, we went over the gate system. I explained the problem. She'd overridden the manufacturer's settings, causing a full lockout when the Wi-Fi dropped during the storm. Basically, I said, you created your own security prison. She groaned. I was just trying to make things uniform. I didn't mean to break everything. I believe you, I said. But you can't micromanage a neighborhood like it's your personal fiefdom. She nodded, embarrassed. I might have gotten carried away. We spent the morning resetting both gates. I gave her a few technical pointers, and she surprised me by actually listening. By noon, both gates opened smoothly again. Thank you, she said quietly. Really? And I'm sorry for changing your code. That caught me off guard. You mean it? I do. I'm even stepping down as HOA president. I nearly dropped my wrench. Wait, seriously. She laughed. Yes. After last night, I realized I've been too controlling. I'm handing the role to someone who enjoys paperwork more than power. That's actually mature of you. She smiled, and for the first time, it wasn't smug. I learned something from this. Jake. Maybe the neighborhood doesn't need managing, it just needs cooperation. Couldn't have said it better myself. A car drove by slowly, windows rolled down. Neighbors gawking at Karen helping me fix her own gate. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. When we finished, she tested her keypad. The gate opened with a smooth mechanical hum. She sighed in relief. So, I said, wiping my hands, what's the new universal code? She grinned. Nice try. Some things should stay private. I laughed. Looks like you finally get it. She nodded. Lesson learned, the hard way. As I headed back to my porch, the sun broke through the clouds. Karen waved, a real, friendly wave this time. Maybe storms really do wash things clean. In the end, all it took to humble the HOA queen was a little lightning. A broken code, and a taste of her own rules.